Hello, welcome to Three Skills Know-It-All Teens Need to Master Before they leave home. I am going to be going over these three skills. Remember, this is the first in the series, so it's not just these three skills. There will be a series of threes, and threes, so that everybody can take part. All right. So if you can hear me, I want you to do me a favor. Let me know in the chat, when you were in high school, where was your level of self-esteem? All right. Let me know that answer in the chat. Also, let me know where you're from, right? And how old your children are. All right. On a scale of 1 to 10, your self-esteem. Okay, was it 8? All right, that's good. That's high for high school. That that's real good self-esteem for high school. All right. Okay. A 15 on a scale of 1 to 10. Listen. You are who we call the bougie kid. It's all good. Listen, if we could get our self-esteem up, that would have been great. So let me ask you another question, right? You guys give me your scale of 1 to 10. That's good. That's good. I see you. So let me ask you this. If you would have known what you know now in high school, how much better off would you be in terms of your self-esteem? How much better off would you be in terms of your self-esteem if you knew in high school what you know now? All right, just giving y'all a minute. Even better? You wouldn't have gone through so much. Okay, very good, very good. And that's why we want to talk about self-esteem, right? And I just want to know, have you ever wondered where you would be and how your life would be different? Have you ever wondered, if you want your children to have the same experience that you had when you were in high school? Like, do you want them to have that same experience if you didn't have high self-esteem? Because some of these numbers are high, some of these numbers are amazingly great, right? And I wish I would have known you all when I was in high school, because my self-esteem was not that high, right? It absolutely was not. But I just want to know, like, what would be that circumstance for you? Okay. And my promise to you is that by the end of this presentation, you will be able to identify your daughter's self-esteem level and help her increase it no matter where she is on the spectrum. Okay. So that is my promise to you. And I want to know your why. Why is it important for you, for your child to have self-esteem? Someone said, if I knew you, I would have really hyped you up. Oh. You know what? I was not this person in high school. I wasn't. And it's so crazy because, like, talking to like childhood friends, junior high, high school friends, they really felt like I had it all together. And I was just like, do y'all know, one, how much I was going through, but two, like the level of insanity that I the level of insanity. Yes, yes. I'm checking the comments at Facebook too. So don't worry, I'm gonna get you too. Someone said it's important for me because I don't want her to believe the negative noise in the world. That's a great answer. That's a great answer as to why your daughter's self-esteem is important to you. Very good. Anyone else? Why is your daughter's self-esteem important to you? All right, we got confidence, her confidence level, yes, right? Because our self-esteem is predicated on our confidence. We want to make sure that our confidence is high and that we can, walk through this world as amazing human beings, right? And a lot of times, particularly in high school, we do not feel that way, all right? So this is a very interactive webinar or training, so make sure that you are interacting, all right? All right, so just a little bit about me. I am Kiana Shaw, CEO of KRS Training and Development, where we connect people's personal success their personal development to their professional success. And I specialize in youth, young adults, and blue collar workers. My expertise has been featured on Huffington Post, on Fox News 11, Voyage LA, CBS, Fox, NBC, ABC. Okay, I'm really excited and proud of this body of work because it's very intentional that I am helping young girls and helping the parents of young girls. Okay, I've worked with the Boys and Girls Club of Metro Los Angeles, After School All Stars, the Greater Los Angeles African American Chamber of Commerce. I have taught classes for the Los Angeles Sparks Girls Program, the LA Clippers Girls Program, Department of Children and Family Services, Los Padrinos Juvenile Detention Center, right? So being a Compton native and a mom and an entrepreneur, I definitely speak mommy, I speak corporate, and I speak gangster. And they all come in handy when I'm working with these youth, okay? Very good. All right. Thank you so much. I'm a 5-time best-selling author, even though you only see 4 books. One of them did not make the cut, right? But these are definitely the ones I am most proud of. A Mother's Diary, I Choose to Be a Lady, I Am Woman Enough, and Fabulous New Life. Those are the 4 of the 5. And I'll tell you later why I don't claim the very first project. All right. I am the founder of this group, probably how you got here. I'm the founder of Mothers Raising Teen Daughters. That's probably how you came about this webinar. When you registered, you probably saw the invite in there, or maybe on my personal social media pages. But as the founder, I was working with high schools, and then all of a sudden I was getting these calls from parents, right? It was like moms were like, I'm calling Coach Kiana on you. And so the kids were like, wait a minute, why is this a thing? And so what I discovered was that a lot of times the parents would call me to not just to kind of tell on their kids and like, hey, she's not doing this, but more so to have a place to vent and chat themselves, right? And so I just wanted, Kia, if you can make sure that you're letting the people in, that'd be great. Sorry. But I wanted to make sure that they had a place. And so Mothers Raising Teen Daughters came about as a safe space for moms to get the resources, the tools, and the support that they needed. And so that was a big deal for me. As the moms were coming to me, I created the book, I Choose to Be a Lady, because moms were kind of needing they needed more access, right? They needed the lessons that I was teaching. And so I created the book so that I didn't have to be everywhere or answering every phone call, right? And so that was a big deal. But as we moved forward, I discovered that there needed to be a greater touch point, and that's where Mothers Raising Teen Daughters came from. All right. I am a certified master life coach. That is part of me working with teen girls. I felt like I needed to make sure that I had more than my basic knowledge, right? More than just great advice. I wanted to be more than a mentor. I wanted to be able to help them move forward in their life. I am not a psychologist. Let me put that out there. Psychologists help you deal with your trauma. Life coaches help you move forward. But I want to make sure that you know that I know there is a distinction. All right. And then I became a certified breakthrough parenting instructor. Now, listen, I did this just because I wanted to be able to co-parent without a felony. Don't judge me, okay? I wanted to be able to co-parent without a felony. Listen, that brother put me through the ringer for a minute. And I won't get into all the details, but I will say that we are doing much better, right? And it's a daily work in progress. It really is. Different things come up. People you're dating and their need to be in the middle of stuff, or people uncomfortable with us having a friendship. And then, it could be all kind of things that come in and play a factor. But my goal was, how do I co-parent successfully and raise a daughter who makes integrity-based decisions and is a productive member of society? If I can figure that out, That's that. And then this was the program. It was the only parenting program that I could really find in my area, that would help me with that, right? And then also help me create parenting plans and things, all the things I needed to be able to do for a judge, right? Like in court. And then it offered it all. And so I was really excited about that. And so I took the program and I was like, oh, this is good. I should be teaching this. So I became an instructor. All right. So then we have, my little fun facts. You will never see me and Batwoman in the same room at the same time. I'm not saying that I'm Batwoman. I'm saying nobody has ever seen us together. That's all I'm saying. Okay. And yes, I make my entire family. This is my blended family. This is my daughter here when she was, I think this was her fourth birthday party. This is me over here in the Batwoman outfit, my dad behind me, and my bonus mom next to me. And then on the other side, right behind my daughter, is my mom and her dad in the Spider-Man costume, and my bonus dad behind him. And we are a blended family, and it works because we make it work. It works because we are very intentional, right? I make them do a theme every year. It is what it is. And this past year we did mermaids, right? My daughter wanted a mermaid party because we live in a community with a pool. And so we did a pool party. And yes, everybody had on mermaid something, right? It was either pawpaw or grandpa of the mermaid, grandma or nana of the mermaid. I was definitely mommy of the mermaid. And then we had a whole mermaid squad, right? It just is what it is. But we do it, and we do it for this little person. This is my daughter, Kayla, who today got what was it? Principal's honor roll. I'm a super proud mom, right? And I'll talk to you more about that in just a minute. And then there is my bonus daughter, the one who made me an expert. Now, this is biologically, she is my niece, but she's my daughter all the same. My brother and I, when my brother and her mom split, my brother became a single dad for a couple of years. And so it was only natural for me to step in and be the mom that she needed until her mom was able to do so. And so she, though, is the reason for the season. You could credit her with my expertise. We had a conversation when she was at a point where she didn't want to listen, and she felt that she could make her own choices. And it was getting to a point where her choices were dangerous. And I was like, I could put you through high school, or I could put you through a wall. Let me know. Now, do I know that there's a better way to handle it? Yes. But did I do it at that moment? No. Right. And so it's all right. We can recover because now we have a very beautiful relationship. But at that time, it was like, you know what? Let's take some space. And that space lasted a year, and it hurt my heart, but I knew that I had to be tough. I knew that I had to make sure that she understood exactly what the parameters were here. You have freedom, but your freedoms must fit into the parameters that I have set. Otherwise, it's not going to work, right? And you have to find yourself on the outside of my home versus on the inside. And she did. And we have developed an amazing relationship since then, right? And so sometimes moms, even when it seems like it won't get any better, it absolutely can. All right. So we're going to talk about that today as well. And we're going to start with busting out some big myths, right? And so you might feel like your child's self-esteem is too far gone. I don't believe you believe that to your core, because if you did, you wouldn't be here, right? You wouldn't have came to the webinar if you felt like it was really just nothing you could do. Okay, so let's go ahead and bust that big old myth right on out. You might say, my child doesn't trust me to teach her these things, right? And that's okay if you feel that way, but I promise you, she does not really feel that way. What she needs is your honesty. What she needs is connection, right? So many times, or so often as parents, we have a tendency to say, you know what? I'm not going to share all the things I went through. I'm just going to tell you that you can't do it. Nope, you can't go to the party. Nope, you can't ride in the car. Never do we say, hey, you know what? When I was younger, some friends of mine got in the car and they weren't drunk or anything, but they just lost control and somebody died, right? Like we never share those things with them. And that's where my book, A Mother's Diary, came from. It was really about the experiences that we as women have had and that we need to share with our daughters, the stories that they need to know. So one mom talked about being her and her friends going out to a party to celebrate one of them becoming a deputy sheriff, and the bartender drugged them. Right. So that's a story that they need to know. Our kids need to hear these things, because when we say no and leave it at that, they go, she's out of touch. She just doesn't want me to have fun. She's a hater. Right. But when we say, listen, this is my experience, even if they say, but that's not everybody. I know everyone won't hurt you, but everyone won't refrain from hurting you either. Right. And so that's what that book was about. It was about explaining to our daughters what the no's are and why they are, as opposed to just saying no. Okay. So the other myth is my child already knows everything. They don't. They just think they do. So those are the three big myths I want to make sure that we bust out right up front, so that you don't have any barriers to paying attention and listening. Okay. Very good. We're moving forward. We have the three skills know-it-all teens need to master before they leave home. The first one we did earlier this week on, and so that was goal setting. Then this is part 2 for self-esteem. And then in a couple of days, we'll have part 3 for hygiene, which for me is the funnest part. Like the hygiene part, I think so many people forget or don't think about how hygiene impacts their day-to-day life, and some things that we don't consider as bad hygiene. So I can't wait to point that out to you in just a couple of days. So check your emails for that. All right. Now, self-esteem, just in its purest form, is just how you feel about yourself. That is the main definition, right? I don't care how we look at it. I don't care how many extra words we add to it. Self-esteem is how you feel about you, okay? And when we are dealing with a healthy level of self-esteem inside of our teens, we can see that they're focused people. Okay, that they have leadership positions. And listen, I get it. This is not every team. This is the rule, but not the exception. Your team may be the exception. They may have healthy self-esteem, but they're not in leadership position. Don't get lost in the sauce. Okay, so there's they are focused. They have leadership positions. They walk to the beat of their own drums. And listen, moms, when you walk to the beat of your own drum, that might mean that your mom doesn't understand either. That might mean that your clothes don't match, right? Listen, my daughter is definitely one who walks to the beat of her own drum. And this morning she had on her school shirt, which is blue, black, and white. She had on like black, green, purple, pink, yellow pants, right? It was like black sweats with those different colors in it. And then she had on purple shoes. Everything in me had to go, don't tell her to change. So my thing was, did you look in the mirror, make sure you like how you look? And she was like, yep. I was like, okay. Ugh. Right? Because I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I'm like, is the Punky Brewster phase coming back? Right? If you're old enough to know what that is, great. If not, like Google Punky Brewster. But I was going, this is like, why? Right? And so as I'm going through these, drop in the chat if you if you have ever had one of these experiences. Like, let me know what healthy self-esteem things does your daughter have, right? I'm checking you out on Facebook as well. But let me know, what are the healthy self-esteem things that your daughter has? All right. So independent thinkers. Listen, independent thinkers means that they are going to think differently than you sometimes. They're not always going to agree with you, and that has to be okay with you, right? Because it is a healthy thing for them to go, nope, I'm not conforming to how my family believes. I am going to think about, right? I'm going to think about this on my own and make my own informed decision. Our job, moms, is to make sure that they have all the information that they need. That's it. It's not our job to go, nope, you're wrong because of this. It's our job to go, well, do you have this piece of information? Okay. They're comfortable being alone. That's not the same thing as locking themselves in their room, but they can go to a movie by themselves. They can go to the mall by themselves. I know a lot of adult women who can't do that. I remember for my 18th birthday, my mom said, get dressed so you can go to dinner. She didn't say we. I got dressed and she was like, you got reservations. And it was a nice restaurant. And I was like, in a nice part of town. And here I am dressed and I'm alone. And we didn't even have cell phones back then. Well, we had them, but like we couldn't just be on them. Like there wasn't all these apps and stuff. It was just, are you making a call or not? Because there's nothing else to do with it. Right. And so I sat at that restaurant and that was a lesson for me. But I have so many friends who cannot be by themselves. They can't go anywhere alone, right? And then they also have an identity that is not solely based on sports or any other activities, all right? So a lot of times our kids become athletes and that's all they see themselves as, or they become scholars and that's all they see themselves as, right? We got to be able to identify the healthy self-esteem inside of them so that we can cultivate it. All right, let me catch up on the chat. You're so good for not saying anything. Listen, it's not always easy. But even when she was little, she would put on a dress and cowboy boots and like a baseball cap. And I'm like, you dress for 3 different genres. Like, what are we doing here? Right. But it's her, it's who she is. Like, who am I to tell her that it's wrong just because it's not something I would do? It doesn't mean that she's wrong. I remember, like, I used to wear black all the time. I wasn't goth. I just really loved the color black. And I remember, my aunt saying, like, add some color. Like, but the way she said it, it was like I had done something wrong. Now I know to say, hey, you know what? If you really want your skin tone to pop, then, add a little bit of color, like switch out the black t-shirt, put like, gold, right? And then that, like, I know that now, but I didn't know that then. And I think that she didn't know that. She just was sick of me wearing black all the time. She wore these pink cowboy boots with everything. Listen, because those were her favorite boots. They had to match everything, right? Because it wasn't about her matching her clothes. It was about matching her mood. Does that make sense? Matching your mood, okay? I'm just saying. All right. So identifying healthy self-esteem, wanting the appropriate independence from your parents. I'm going to take a sip while y'all swallow that. It is healthy for your kids to want independence from you. It's not healthy to abandon them because you're offended that they want independence. Y'all need another minute because I can give you one. Okay, I'm just saying. All right. It's very appropriate and it is helping them. That independence builds their self-esteem because they know they have to do some of it themselves. They have to get into this feeling around us, right? And so they're going to do that. It's another thing. It's a sign of healthy self-esteem when they can confront their own mistakes. Being able to confront their mistakes, that is a healthy thing, right? And that's not the same as being down on themselves, but it is to say, oh my goodness, I got to be able to figure this out. I got to right this wrong, right? We all wrestle with self-doubt from time to time. We do. We all wrestle with it. And a common misconception is that, like, our self-esteem has to be based on certain things when it doesn't. Okay. So also understanding it's easy to like yourself when you're winning. We all feel great when we get an A. We all feel great when we make the winning basket or when we tell the joke and everyone laughs, right? It's easy to love yourself when you're winning. But how do you feel about yourself when you don't make the basket? How do you feel about yourself when you get the C? Today, when my daughter got her award, I was like, okay, so that tells me, because she got the principal's honor roll, that's like 4.0 to 4.9. That tells me that her report card is going to be all A's. So what I said to her was, I'm so proud of you for getting this award, but do you know what makes me even prouder? The effort that you put into getting the award. The effort, right? Rewarding what she did and what it took, right? The oomph that it took just for her to like push through. And it's because I know what it took, right? She came home a couple of weeks ago and she's like, Mom, like, I just don't know what to do because I really wanted straight A's. I was striving for straight A's. And she said, but I'm only my reading goal, I'm only at like 52%. And it's not based on it's based on the books, but it's based on the complexity of the book and how many pages. Like there's all these different factors that go into it. And so I was like, so what books have we read? Like, because she's thinking about the books at school, but I'm like, but we read at home. And so there's this wonderful series by Mildred D. Taylor. It was one of my favorites when I was in junior high, during 6th, 7th, 8th grade, right? And so I introduced Kayla to that series a couple of weeks ago. And so we had listened to the books, but it's been some weeks. So I was like, okay, we'll see if it's an option on there. Okay, it is. Go ahead and take the test. And we thought she was going to have to take both tests, but she was able to just take one. I was like, so then save the other one just in case you need it later, right? But she was able to take the test and push herself over the goal because of the complexity. And it's like a long novel and all that. So all that played a role, right? But I was like, I'm proud of the effort that went into it because you identified that you were short and you had to fix it and you did. We have to encourage that in our teens. It's easy to like you when you're winning. Can you course correct when you're not winning without internalizing it? Because teens are expected to know the difference between right and wrong and always choose right as if that's a real thing. Come on, moms. How many of us have done things that we're not proud of as adults? I always tell the kids, you don't even make your best mistakes until you hit 30. I don't care what you've done. Your best mistakes happen around 30, 31, right? And then 35, you should be, on that downhill slide. But but sometimes when you hit your 30s, you're still climbing. You're still climbing. And so letting them understand the difference between being disappointed in themselves for the mistake or the shortcoming and being disappointed in the actual event, right? You get an F, that doesn't mean you are a failure. It means you failed that's an action. It's not who you are. That's why we don't name our kids failure, because it's not who they are. Failure is an action. It's an activity. Sometimes people fail not because they didn't do it right, but because they didn't even do it, right? Failure is, it comes in a multitude of things, but a person, it does not come to. It doesn't come in that, okay? But when they're expected to make the right choices all the time, they're having healthy self-esteem gives them the guts to make those good choices. It gives them the guts to make the right decisions, even when their pressure from their peers is on, right? So I always tell my daughter, don't give in to peer pressure. Go be the pressure for your peers, right? That's something a mentor said. I heard her say to her kids years ago, and that stuck with me. We don't give in to peer pressure. We are the pressure for our peers. All right. And that's something that we got to instill in our kids. So here go a couple of other things that we identify when we're talking about low self-esteem. Like, and this is like the core skills, or I don't think they're called skills, but the core things that I find, right, in my research, when I'm talking to other teachers, when I'm talking to other mentors, these are the core things that I've identified. So one, being bullies. Most bullies are really just kids full of low self-esteem, or adults, right? Because we all know adult bullies and they're full of low self-esteem as well. Okay. So you have the bullies, and then you have the people who can't make any moves by themselves. You guys see the girls that gotta go to the bathroom in a group. They gotta go, the principal called me, I need somebody to walk with me. Why? Because that long road by yourself, just that hallway, is uncomfortable. That's a trigger for low self-esteem. Now, and before I move forward, I understand that sometimes you might have the exception to the rule, but I'm just giving the rules. Okay. That being said, a lot of times they dress for the attention of others. Now, we in our minds go, oh, that means that they're, low cut shirts, high cut skirts. It doesn't have to be that. It could be, the baggy pants. It could be, always having on a baseball cap. There's tons of things that are dressing for the attention of others. Okay. I know that oftentimes we focus on our girls, but our sons deal with this as well. All right. We have the class clowns and attention approval seekers all the time. The reason they're acting up is because they don't get the attention anywhere else. So they're vying for it. They want it anywhere they can get it. All right. Those who need to be identified by their looks. I'm not leaving the house without makeup. I'm not leaving the house without my chains on, right? How many of your kids are like this? My hair's not done. They rather call out of school than to go without their hair being done. Just put it in a ponytail. No, it has to be this. It has to be, because they're being identified by their looks. They're identifying themselves by their looks or their athletic status. Some other way they deem credible. All right. Very good. All right. They're oftentimes promiscuous. Again, this is not just about the girls. A lot of young men are promiscuous because of their low self-esteem. This is how they're proving to themselves, to their friends, that they are somebody. Sleeping with as many people as they can. That's not just for girls. It's a sign of low self-esteem. When they're rude or they date down. Now, when I say date down, I'm talking about like not the lawyer who's dating a janitor, right? Because they're both gainfully employed. They just have different fields. He may have an aspiration to open up a janitorial business. I have a friend who just crossed the high 8-figure mark. And I was just like, with a janitor service, like, please let me know how I can invest. Sorry about that. But when you think about the lawyer who's dating a gang member, that's dating down. When you think about, like, you can look at the person, she steps out, she's always together, she like always on point, and then she dates a guy like, think Princess Jasmine and Aladdin. You're the princess, you got billions, you have guards, you got servants, and you are dating a guy who has to steal to eat, right? So that's what I mean by dating down. It's like, clearly you're not in the same space, but there's a reason. And it's not that they're a bad person. Please know, I'm not saying that that's a bad person. I'm saying that it is not a person on the level, the thought level, the mental, the physical, the emotional level as you. But you choose them because you don't have to work. All right. All right. Now, I'm going to say this because we got to get to the sources of low self-esteem. Right now, I would say 99% of psychologists say, take your kids' phones. From 0 to 10, the biggest sources of self-esteem or low self-esteem come from our families. From 11 to 35, It's our social media. We are all just connected. And literally the kids stand together in a circle, everybody holding their phones all the time. All the time. I just broke up a group of that. I was just like, when y'all are standing together, please put your phones away. When you're out to dinner, please put your phones away. They're so connected. So when we talk about the 0 to 10 and we talk about the families, we got to think about, the things that people say. You're fat. You're lazy. You're going to be just like your mom. You're going to be just like your dad. Those are the harsh things that family members say. Those are the harsh things when they say, you don't need to eat that. No, no. Now, you might mean, listen, you don't need to eat any more sugar. You don't need to consume any more sugar. But if you say, you don't need to eat that. Nope, you can't fit your pants as it is. What do you think you're sending? The message that's being sent. I remember a family member saying, oh, Kiana, you getting hippie. Really? That's how you feel? I was like a size 8. And she made this big old, at a 22, she made this big old statement. And I was just like, now looking back, I can go, I did look really pretty that day. So maybe it was her, deflecting off of how she felt about herself. But at 15, 16, that's not my thought process. At 43, I can process it and go, okay, I see it for what it is. But teenagers don't have that ability. Kids don't have that ability. I remember an aunt saying, oh my goodness, you trying to get down? Because I got to like a size 12. And I was like, I want to just go back to a 10, right? Because I was brick house, like seriously, 36, 24, 36. Like the measurements were no lie, right? And she was like, oh, you're not 8 material. I wanted to get to an 8, but I was at a 12. And she was like, you're not 8 material. Really? I had to pass 8 to get to 12. Like, what do you mean? Right? But this is what she said to me. And I walked away and like just wanting a banana split. Like I just needed that comfort food. Like, how dare you? But we have to watch what we say to our kids, how we say it. All right. So if you have a statement, like maybe there is something similar and you're like, how do I say this without hurting their feelings? Drop it in either chat. Okay. And then I can help address it. All right. That being said, let me see. It says, sigh about the independence from me. But I'm going with it. Yes, listen, trust what you put into your daughter. So when she wants a little bit of independence, you just tell her what the parameters are, right? Kayla's always looking for more independence, right? It's like she's excited to just empty out the dishwasher, to be honest, right? She loves washing the counters down and things like that. She asked me if she could have more independence, and I said, okay, here's what we'll do. I opened up her YouTube from that like 5 to 8 to 9 to 13, right? And I was like, so here I've given you more space, but let's be clear about what the parameters are. Once I was able to do that, then she's like, cool, I can do this, right? And then the consequences. If you break the trust, this is what we got to deal with. Once she knows that, I don't want to catch you doing bad. I want to catch you doing good. So understand that I can see everything you're watching. Understand that I can see your emails. I want to catch you doing good. All right. So let's see. All right. So in a day and age, we were talking about social media. I'm sorry, I got off on a tangent, but we're talking about social media. So this whole tag, like, share, tweet, follow, comment, subscribe culture is really damaging to our kids. So we have to be mindful. How are we making sure that that we're keeping our kids protected, but still giving them freedom, but also monitoring how it's impacting them, right? When I ask kids, how many of you, when you're on social media, walk away feeling like you're not enough? Overwhelming majority, 99, almost 100% every time of their hands go up. How many of you feel like, you when you leave social media, you can't even make a mistake? If you make a mistake, it's going to be captured and everyone's going to know. And they're like, me. How many of you feel, like you thinking that you're not smart enough? The hands go up repeatedly. And it creates a thinking disorder, right? A thinking disorder that causes them to think that they're inadequate because they're different, or they're inadequate because they made a mistake. You can make mistakes. You can have a different thought process. If you're holding me to thoughts I had 10 years ago, as if I don't get to grow as a person, as a mother, as a wife, as a sister, as a cousin, as a daughter, I don't get to grow at all. I don't get to learn new information and update my thought process. So if you're holding your daughter, if you're bringing up an old situation, because remember that time you was in kindergarten, really? I'm still being in trouble for stuff I did in kindergarten? That sucks. And that's why they're like, I can't even be a part of the cool crowd, even if they accept me, because I'm gonna do something stupid. That's not them thinking that. That's something that someone has imparted to them. Someone gave them that thought. They didn't create it. So we have to be mindful. Are our kids afraid to make a mistake? Are they overcritical of other people? How do we go? How do we help them? Right? So the one thing that we can do is go from being reactive to everything that they do to proactive in helping them. All right. And that means families and schools. How does your family connect? How does the school support? Right? Families that aren't affectionate, with one another, like they don't sit and just, on the couch together. They don't hold hands. They don't just talk. They don't just have dinner together, right? Families who don't do that tend to have kids who seek attention or avoid it at all costs. So they either are very out there trying to get everybody's attention, or they're just like super withdrawn. I'm gonna be in my room. So you can't say, oh my gosh, she turned 14 and all of a sudden she doesn't want to talk to us. Well, how much talking was going on in the earlier years? We were so close. Were you so close because everywhere you went, you had to take her? Or were you so close because you guys really did things together? Because there's a difference. Okay. Families that eat dinner together, right, have the reverse effect. Those kids tend to love to have conversations. They love to, they're very comfortable with expressing themselves and in who they are, right? Kids are already going through puberty development. The last thing they want to do is struggle in their own homes. It's not intentional. But when we attack it, we're attacking their self-esteem. When we attack it, we're saying, hey, we don't like you. At least that's what they hear. You may have never said those words in your life, but they're undergoing all these changes coupled with, this desire to be accepted. And they really don't want to compare themselves to others, but they're always being compared to others. Oh, your older sister is better at this. Your older brother is doing, like, all these comparisons. So all of this on top of puberty and emotions and teenage drama and hormones. You may want to make a certain, weight for sports, and they're like, okay, you may want them to look a certain way for sports or make a certain way for sports. It's not their desire, right? We talked about the goal setting. What do they really want? Because a lot of times they just want to make you happy, so they do whatever. That is negatively impacting our kids' self-esteem. Mama want me to be a lawyer, I'm gonna be a lawyer. I just want her to be proud of me on some level, right? And so they struggle. They struggle with their body images. And we are not even telling them, listen, your self-esteem shouldn't even be connected. It shouldn't even be connected to your body image. When we really want our kids to do this right, we need to start telling them, base your self-esteem on the things that that people can't see, on your good heart, the way you think, your ability to love, not your curves, because the curves are going to leave sometimes. Everybody does not stay a size 4. I don't want to, make anybody jealous, but I can still fit the same earrings from high school, right? Nothing else though, but I can still fit my earrings from high school. That's a real thing for me. But if my self-esteem is based on that 36, 24, 36, how do I love myself? Listen, at a size 16 to 18, because COVID, I done gained some more weight, I am still the finest thing in here. Holly Berry can walk in here. She's number 2. I'm on top all the time. Don't matter if my hair is done. Doesn't matter if my nails are done. Who's gonna outlove me? Not near one. I know I split those verbs, but no one is gonna outlove me. No one is gonna outgive me. You ask anybody, and they say, "Oh my gosh, she's very loving. She's very giving." Now she don't play, right? But my personality leads me. My heart leads me. The words that I use when I'm speaking to you lead me. My intelligence leads me. My mental and my emotional intelligence lead me. That's what people see. That's what they experience, not what they see, but what they experience. So when I'm talking to my daughter about self-esteem, I'm going, what is it that you love about you that other people can't even see? That's the question. Because when they can love themselves on the things that other people can't even see, they start to understand that their value is not in clothing. It's not in their expensive gear. All these things influence. Teachers saying things to our kids. I've had many a conversation with teachers because a student said, well, I was walking and then she said that I'm stuck up because I walk with my head up. She says, I act like I own the place. Really? You said that to a young and impressionable 13-year-old? Let's have this conversation because I'm going to go talk to her mom, but I want to have the conversation with you first. And I've offended many a people because why? Why would you say that to a kid who is literally walking with pride? Why does that bother you? And so many people don't know why it bothers them. They just know it does. Okay, but these comments are hurtful. And often they're coming from the source of that person's own inadequacy. But again, our kids don't know that. When mom says, just pull your hair out your face, our kids internalize that as mom is unhappy with me. When we need to go, hey, you know what? I'm sorry. Mommy is projecting. I'm sorry. But a lot of us don't even feel like we should apologize to our kids. Oh, they'll be fine. Are you? Trace back to the people who said things. Are you fine? Oftentimes we're not. I asked a group of parents, a group of women, what is it that could have been done to make you feel more confident growing up, right? What could have helped build your self-esteem? And these are some of the quotes that they said. If their parents were more engaged, if they had more engagement at home, being reassured that I mattered, playing sports, direct, open, and honest conversations with my parents. Those are the things that would have helped my self-esteem. Being told that I'm valued, having engaged, non-judgmental parents. Does that mean that you approve of everything? No. But do we have to judge it? Direct, open, and honest conversations with my parents. That would have been helpful. Affirming and nurturing comments from both parents about my intellectual prowess, beauty, and positive spirit. That's a big one. What teenager do you know can say that? They don't have the words, so we just have to do it because they don't have the words to say it. Patience from others, having parents to invest time, love, and wisdom. That would have helped with her self-esteem. And then this person says, parents being interested in what I was doing and feeling instead of assuming that I was a bright and resilient child who could figure stuff out on my own. Listen, I don't know about you, but I needed guidance. I needed guidance growing up. Our kids do too. They need the guidance. We don't get to just say, you're fine. They want to feel like you care. It helps with the self-esteem. Okay? Any aha moments, anything that you were like, you know what, this is good. Give me some aha moments. Speak life. Okay, very good. I like that. That's a very important one. Speaking life. Making sure that the things that we say to them help them grow, right? Think of a plant, help them grow. But if you take away the light, inside of them with your words, with your inaction, it's going to hurt. All right. Let's see. All right. So we talked about the things that help us identify our daughter's self-esteem levels. Then we talked about things that we can do to help them improve it. All right. So that's very good. We talked about things we should probably stop doing, right? As it relates to our daughters and their self-esteem. Okay. And now I want to talk to you, if it's okay, about the mom suite, because this is where this good information is coming from. Okay. So we have the mom suite. It's a community of moms who have the same goals as you. We are building this community. It's going to be absolutely amazing. And you have monthly master classes with experts in this group. In this community, you have digital downloads where you can print out things and kind of go over them, just kind of mom and me activities. And you get a monthly Q&A with either myself or a community expert, okay? Now, the mom suite is not for you. I'm just going to say this because, we just got to know, okay? It's not for you if you feel like, you've lost all control and you don't have time to, invest anything else into your daughter. Okay, it's not for you if you've given up on her, and if you just don't want to do the effort. It's not for you if that's your stance. All right. But it is for you if you're emotionally exhausted. It is for you if you're feeling like a failure as a parent and you're tired of walking on eggshells, tired of pissing your daughter off just by saying good morning, right? It is for you if you are dealing with massive amounts of stress and you want to help your daughter learn to self-manage so that you can get a little me time for you. Right? It is for you if you're looking to connect with your daughter and bring love, joy, and harmony back to your home. It's for you if, you just want to be able to sit with your daughter and connect, right? And if you want a community of other moms who are supportive and who are on the journey with you and want to help, okay? So I'm sorry. So it is for you if those are the things that you want. If you're ready to change your relationship, it is definitely for you. Now, already inside the community, there are so many I'm sorry, master classes, downloads. There's even a library inside from other experts. There's already over $17,000 worth of value in the community. Okay. So if all this did was help you to manage your teen and your relationship with your teen and your own thoughts and emotions, would it be worth it? If all it did was stop your teen, stop you from, feeling like your teen is embarrassed by you, or maybe even stop your teen or their other parent from belittling you, or if all it did was give you access to the information you need to increase your relationship, build your relationship with your daughter, would it be worth it? If all this membership did was allow you to have talks and follow through with conversations without having a ton of stress behind it, right? If all it did was give you solutions, would it be worth it? Let me know. I'm waiting in the chat. If all it did was, help you take back those days where you had joy in your relationship with your daughter. All right, I'm seeing some yeses. Okay, very good, very good. Well, I want to let you know that in all this value, right, you got about $12,000 in master classes already in the group. You have about just under $4,000 in monthly Q&As. Well, the Q&As are not in the group yet. Those would be live, but you already have like $1,500 in monthly downloads. You have a community of moms just like you, which is absolutely priceless, right? Sorry about that. And so you have over $17,000 worth of value in there. So I want to give you an offer. I want to give you a 14-day free trial, right, of the membership, and it's $97. The monthly membership is $97. I want to give you a 14-day free trial just so you can try it out before you make a commitment. And, right, because there's like a whole but wait, there's more moment. If you use code Black Friday, because your Black Friday sale starts now. If you use code Black Friday, you get the membership. You get the 14 days for free, and then you lock in the price of just $37. All right, $37 a month if you use code Black Friday. So that's $37 a month as opposed to $97 a month, which is the normal price of the membership. And I promise you, you will not see $37 again after this Black Friday. This is the Black Friday sale that you have access now because you are either here watching it live in the Facebook, or you registered for the webinar and you are a part of it. This is the reason you're getting it, all right? Because there won't be a replay. They'll have to go to the group, right? Every time we do these, the replays are in the group. So if you feel like, oh, okay, I would have paid $37 just for this webinar, right? Let's just say the series of webinars. We had goal setting, we have self-esteem and hygiene. If you felt like, well, this is $37 worth of value by itself, and I get all these other ones, all these other classes, listen, here's a list of master classes that are already inside. This alone is way more than $37, right? If you sign up, you get the Mom and Me activities that are already inside. I even threw in the bonus of the 5 love languages of teenagers. That's not mine, but it is something that I think it will add to the community. And so I added it in there. And then there's a whole library. 3 secrets to the mother-daughter relationship, budgeting, 20 pieces of advice for teen girls starting high school. All of these are already in the group, right? They're already there. So you sign up, you get immediate access to them. Over $1,000 in value just for that. Okay, so over $12,000 in monthly master classes. You get monthly Q&As, which for the year average about $3,600. Monthly downloads are already in there, about $1,500 worth. And then you get a community of moms like you, which is absolutely priceless. Total value over $17,000. Is your relationship with your daughter worth it? Is it worth that 37? Is it worth it? Yes. All right. Very good. Thank you. I was like, oh, somebody got to say it. All right. So then go ahead and take action now. Go to themomsuite.com. You can sign up. Again, use code Black Friday to get it for $37. So you get the Black Friday, you get the 14 days free, right? So you can poke around, and then it's only $37 a month after that. If you use Black Friday, and it's $37 for as long as you're a member in good standing. All right. When it renews, if you don't take advantage now, after the holidays, it will go back to $97. All right. So think about how much it will cost you if you don't sign up now. All right. So again, $17,000 worth of value inside the community, and your investment is only $37 today. All right. Any questions?